The Bach selections represented in this video served as educational pieces in his time and still in ours today. We thought it fitting to open with his prelude in the key of C. We'll talk more on Bach throughout the video. This is a great example of the catchy rhythms and melodies of Johann Strauss. This opera is widely performed today throughout the world. This music is from the finale of Act 2, and we have visuals to invite and attract children to the piano. Solfège is assigning a syllable to each note of the major scale. Let it be known that the spelling S-O is derived from the true spelling S-O-L, sol. We chose the two-letter spelling to be consistent with the others for our pre-readers and early readers. Each puppet pops up with a C major chord establishing the key. Do is the first scale degree. Row, row, row your boat begins with do, do, do. One. This is the Minuet in G by Beethoven, often a popular piece to play for the maturing piano student. Fingering an instrument can sometimes be underrated. There are multitasking abilities in playing an instrument, such as reading and processing the notes, playing the right notes, playing the right fingering and the right timing, not to mention with nuance and musicality. This video offers a tremendous advantage, having already absorbed and applied the finger numbers if they continue music study. Bach's pieces can be dissected where isolated melodies are beautiful standing alone, and yet he masterfully puts all the voices intermingled together, making a beautiful design as a whole, like weaving or braiding. Hansel and Gretel by Humperdinck is a delightful opera widely performed, enjoyed by children and adults. This playful melody is the opening scene. The visuals here are fine motor skills, an important part of a child's development. Playing an instrument certainly requires these skills. Re is the second scale degree. Listen how the pitch is sounded after the chord. Re. The beginning notes of All Around the Mulberry Bush are Do to Re, which is a second interval. 1, 2. What age can a child start doing these melodies on the piano? It varies from child to child, but on average around 3.5 years. This is a spin-off from the Rimsky-Korsakov's Flight of the Bumblebee. Help point out to your child the do, re, do motive in the song. This is arranged from the samba rhythm. The samba is a lively Brazilian dance in duple meter. We wanted to create a song that would be fun to layer any sound on top of. Play or clap your hands with your child to keep to the beat. Mi is the third scale degree. Listen how the note is sounded after the key is established. Mi. Mary Had a Little Lamb starts on Mi and descends to Do. Do to Mi is a third interval. We incorporated this pattern in the famous Pachelbel's canon. Each time, the pattern appears after an even number of measures. See if your child can anticipate the entrance of the Do, Re, Mi, Re, Do motive.
Practice makes perfect.
The metronome is a powerful tool that involves attention and focus to keep accurate timing. Many piano students encounter this Hanon exercise number 1, and hopefully with a metronome. We had a fine motor section, and this is the gross motor. Finger exercises in practicing is just as important as stretching before running a race. Playing and singing music is athletic in a sense, that it takes balance and timing, proper execution, energy, but not over-intensity. The world-renowned violinist Itzhak Perlman echoed this concept in his statement, "If you look at a beautiful bow arm on the violinist, you could compare it to a beautiful batting swing of a baseball player." Having children do both athletics and music practice benefits both activities. Now for the fourth scale degree. Can you sing the correct pitch before it is sung?
Fa.
The first two notes in "The Wheels on the Bus" demonstrate the fourth interval distance.
1.
The fourth finger may feel
4,
unnatural to the first-time piano
1,
player, so take your time.
4.
We wanted to represent a wide variety of music in this DVD. The boogie-woogie style is one of the most exuberant forms of music. My colleague working with me on this project has superior improvisational talent. A lot of these songs were played on the spot as we were recording, such as this song. It was a lot of fun. Listen for this theme within the music. A great teacher once told me that music moves in a circular motion. It must have continuous energy and never be static. Bach is a master at counterpoint. Counterpoint is where all the voices or melodies are of equal importance. One does not accompany the other. Bach's music never stops teaching. His pieces are still thoroughly studied today. He has had a great deal of influence on composers that have lived after him. So is the fifth scale degree. Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star shows the distance from Do to Sol, a fifth interval.
1, 2.
Each little melody is accompanied by our own
4,
special arrangements
5,
to show that any melody can be represented in any style of music. Toddlers who have this video at home are asking to watch this again and again. But is it really beneficial? Yes. The pitches represented one at a time are a tremendous auditory tool. Children can sing and begin to match pitch, begin to keep the beat, and this video brings attention to motives and themes within the music, to teach listening, and they're watching how notes move on the staff. All the right-hand fingers are used in this pattern. This is a slow jazz ballad style. Gently encourage curved fingers as your child learns to play. This is a common vocal exercise. Instrumentalists benefit from singing instruction, and singers certainly benefit from instrumental instruction. This famous aria from Gluck's opera Orfeo ed Euridice is a timeless melody, written more than 200 years ago. The intention here was to show that every piece of music invokes feelings and images in our minds. Though there are so many technical aspects of music, the essential purpose and reason for music is to express.
Octaves.
The bass clef staff enters in this portion of the video.
Do.
The bass and the treble staff put together is called the grand staff. Listen to the octaves and sing them with your child.
La. Ti.
The left hand generally plays the notes in the bass staff. We wanted to represent some opera singing in this video. Rigoletto is another widely performed opera by Verdi. La is the sixth scale degree. The first two notes in My Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean show a sixth interval distance.
3, 2,
This is the first
1,
song that does not begin with the
2,
one finger.
3.
Without getting too complicated, let it be said that Do will not always be on middle C. Again, solfège is assigning a syllable to the notes of the major or diatonic scale, no matter the key. For example, if you play a scale starting on D, Do, Re, Mi would be on the notes D, E, and F sharp. We chose to keep the simplicity of staying on middle C for this volume. Will this confuse your child when they begin to learn the note names? Not at all. In fact, we find that it is advantageous for the child to have already begun to absorb the function and relationships between notes before the technicalities of learning the note names. Also, when trying to teach preschoolers the note names on the keyboard when they're still learning the alphabet can be confusing to some little children at first, especially the idea that the musical alphabet only goes to G. They're looking for H. The universal purpose of solfège is to develop ear training. Here we introduce the theme to this invention, and then we have isolated fragments. One phrase is a question, and the other phrase is an answer. The first one rises in pitch, and then we hear the phrase inverted. This is the last section of the invention when the themes overlap each other in both hands. Experiment with your child by creating your own musical dialogue. Play any 5 notes that end on re, then 5 more notes, maybe in an opposite direction, and end on do. This is the final and 7th scale degree. The challenge is finding a traditional melody that starts on do and jumps to T. So we chose the ending of Yankee Doodle, taking the final phrase up an octave. The 7th interval is just a half tone shy of the octave. As these patterns become easier, experiment with them. Play with the opposite hand or with other fingers. Extend the melodies and put in your own words. This pattern is different from the others in that the notes repeat. Here is another moment of opera exposure. We chose all black notes to foreshadow that note heads will eventually be just black. We use different children's voices on purpose so the viewer can hear different vocal timbres for each pitch. This music is another famous aria, Non più andrai, from The Marriage of Figaro by Mozart, another loved opera performed around the world. The visuals show the proper etiquette in acknowledging applause. Even bows and curtsies have to be rehearsed.